Well, hello there. Nice of you to join me. So, if you've watched any of my episodes so far, you'll find out that I'm a novice, a complete amateur in the woods. However, what I'm about to discuss is a topic that I have some subject matter expertise on. So today I'm going to give my top 5 tips on how to buy a woodland. I've been trying for quite some time, so I think I've got some useful tips for anybody who's looking to do a similar sort of venture to what I'm doing. The most important one is probably the last one, so please stay tuned until the very end. And I will also say at the end what tips worked for me and how I came about purchasing this fantastic woodland that I've got here. Tip number 1 is, where do I find woodlands in the first place? So unsurprisingly, there's not a lot of websites out there that are dedicated to woodlands. However, there are a few. The 3 main ones that I came across was forest.co.uk, Woodlands for Sale, or Woods for Sale, and woodlands.co.uk. I'll put the links in the description. And this is another thing you don't think of as you're buying a woodland, because I'm sure you've walked through plenty, but yeah, until you get up here and sit down and they start attacking, whew, you don't really realise. So, other sites that you can use are your regular property sale sites, so for your houses, etc. Like rightmove.co.uk, Purple Bricks, On the Market, those sort of sites. Now, however, I would say also include other land types as well, because sometimes I've found woodlands and it wasn't in the woodland section, it was just in, agricultural land or farmland or something like that. So spend a bit of time on there. Once you get a couple of searches that you think are working for you, it's bringing back as many woodland type properties as you can. Most of these sites will allow you to save the search or even set up an alert. Online auctions or just auction houses, quite a few small parcels of land come up on those sort of sites. The final place that you can look, which might be perhaps the most obvious, but wasn't to me, is if you see a piece of woodland, and if it's attached to maybe a farm area or something like that, go knock on that farmhouse. It might not be that farmer's property, but he might have the contact details of the person that does own it. It might be that farmer's property, and then you can, a lot of farmers don't really use the woodland for anything. Maybe that will change now with Clarkson's farm, maybe not. So yeah, the old approach of if you don't ask, you will not know. Try that one out. That might work for you. Tip number 2. Set your budget. Now, this is vital, and it'll really help you with some of the other factors that you'll need to consider, which we'll go into next. Yeah. However, it's really important that you realise that buying a woodlands is not like buying a house. You're not going to get a mortgage from your typical mortgage lenders. It's what they call a cash-only purchase. That doesn't mean that you need the cash there and then, but it does mean that you need to be able to prove that you've got the funds there ready to purchase and send across to the solicitors, who'll have to do like the anti-money laundering checks and all that jazz. So if you're definitely considering buying a woodlands and you've got the disposable income or the savings, then fantastic, brilliant. If not, get prepared to be saving up for quite a while. Tip number 3, and it sounds like a bizarre one, but ask yourself, why do you want to buy a woodland? Now, when I first started mentioning this to my friends and family, they would ask me that question, why do you want to buy a woodland? And maybe childishly, I'd be like, because I want to. It's my dream. It's what I want to do. Who are you to judge me on? You really have to think about this quite hard, actually. And I would suggest don't even think about buying a woodland until you can answer this question. Because, again, it's very important to a couple of other factors you need to consider. What is it that you want to do in the woodland? Is it I want an area where I can do some place to camp out, somewhere I want to take the kids to, you know, that sort of thing. So why is it that you want to buy a woodland? What is the priorities, you know, what activities are you thinking of doing in that woodland? Once you can answer that quite detailed, now by the time I was buying this woodland, you know, I could bore someone to death for half an hour of why I wanted to buy a woodlands. But that made me then confident that I knew exactly what I was looking for and why I was doing it. So, yeah, it's something to consider. Tip number 4, size, location, and what features do you want to have in that woodland. And this is why I'm suggesting to you in tip number 3, really think of what you're going to do in that woodland. So, for example, if you want a place to take your family to go camping, maybe, you know, all throughout the summer. So, you know, on the weekends, like maybe a week or two through the summer holiday. Now, that woodland being maybe a 2-hour drive away from you, that might not be a problem, because, you know, that's part of a holiday or weekend experience, is the drive to get there, to camp out and, you know, to have some fun away from where you live. However, if you want to do things like me, you want to be up here doing bushcraft and woodland management and stuff like that, well, you know, 2-hour drive would mean that I'd only be able to do it on the weekend or during the dry months in the summer. So the location of the property, I think, is a really important one. Size of the property. So if you're only looking to do a little bit of camping and stuff like that, well, maybe 2 acres is all you're looking for. If you want to do paintballing, you want to do some sort of zip lining, you want to put glamping pods or something like that up there, then you're going to need something bigger. So figure out what it is, and then give yourself, you know, that should give you a good idea of what the size of the property that you're looking for. Like I said on a previous episode, mine is just under 4.5 acres, and I'm already starting to consider this is too big for me. So I'm lying, it's just right, it's perfect, I love it. Features, what works for you? What makes you want a woodland? You know, do you like nature? Is it you want a diverse range of tree species in there? Mine is quite an inclined woodland. Is you were, you know, preferred feature to be flat. I had to have a stream in one of mine. You know, that was an absolute must. So I would suggest putting together maybe a top 10 list, including size, location, and then a couple of the features that you want in there. Road access, that was a biggie for me. If you don't mind walking, you know, half an hour down a country lane to get there, then, you know, that's your choice. So put together a list of your top 10, and then, you know, properties that, you know, you're never going to get a 10 out of 10. Mine ain't 10 out of 10, but properties that, you know, are sort of like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, these are the ones that you're most likely going to be looking at, pondering over a bit. And the final tip then, tip number 5, and it is the most important one, patience. Honestly, it is not an easy process. It's not a quick process getting a woodland. There's very few properties out there. It's not like, you know, houses where you can be quite picky. With woodlands, it's a completely different matter. It took me probably the last 18 months, and that's 18 months of doing all the things that I've been saying, you know, daily, weekly sort of searches, constantly on the lookout. I've come close to a couple of properties, but again, patience, slow down when you get there, make sure you do a good survey of the area, always come to the woodland. Don't, you know, if there's 20 amazing photographs on the website, yeah, there's probably one that is really bad and they don't put it on there. So get out there, have a look for yourself, make sure that you're 100% know everything about the area. Now, don't get me wrong, like I say, I haven't been across the entire property, but, you know, do some looks on the Google satellite imagery, look at your local aerial photographs. Some of them are fantastically detailed. Like before even coming up here, the boundary wall that's over in that direction, I already knew about because I could see it as an outline on Google, well, not Google Maps, on a local council website. You know, once you get to the point of putting in an offer, you will have to do some surveys depending on what area you're in, and that'll flag up things like any public walkways, footpaths, tree protection orders, that sort of thing. But being in the Welsh valleys, I also went with a coal conveyance survey as well, to make sure that there was no subsidence happening on the land because of the coal mines beneath the ground, etc. So there's plenty of things that you need to do, but like I say, patience is key to this. You're not going to find one right on your doorstep ticking all your boxes. You're going to have to be patient, and like I say, sometimes you'll have to see a property that you think would fit the bill, go elsewhere, because like I say, there's other people looking and there's not many properties out there. So hopefully you've found those tips useful. I did say that I would tell you at the end how I came about finding my property. I think I gave most of it away during the discussion of the topic. Didn't find it on the websites that I quoted earlier, the ones that are dedicated to forestries. They're wonderful sites. Some of the better properties do end up on there, but also the prices are reflective as well, so very expensive. I found mine on just a general sort of property website. It came up at, well, I was doing my searching just before bed, about 11 o'clock. I think it had been posted on there 5 o'clock that afternoon. So the following morning I was straight on the phone, came up here then 2 days later, had a look. Key to it is getting in early. If something's been on for a while, on a website for a while, it's probably a reason. Like I said earlier, maybe those photographs aren't exactly reflective, or perhaps the price is just a little bit too much for many. But yeah, what Woodlands is to one person is something different to someone else. So, a woodland is what you value it at. And the individuals that I bought it off, and I think their father unfortunately passed away, and they were just looking for a quick sale to close that chapter, which meant that I got it for a reasonable price, because prices of woodlands since COVID, they've been going astronomical. So there are still bargains out there, but 6 months ago I was close to making an offer on another property, and it had nowhere near. It was a 6 out of 10 at best property. So in the end, I didn't go with it, and I'm so glad, because I would have paid twice the amount for less than what I've got here. So yeah, hopefully those tips will help you on your search, on your journey to get in the woodlands. If it did help you, please like, subscribe, press that notification button, drop me a comment. Good or bad, because like I say, I am an amateur, so maybe this could have been a better explanation for you. Take care.